one of us can get hit at any time. That same Melissa, it before it reached to Jamaica, it hit part of Haiti, then it went through Jamaica, then it hit Cuba, then it hit the Bahamas, and then it came to Bermuda where I live. And the reality is that we were hit not directly. By the time it reached to Bermuda, it was category one, and it was 70 miles offshore. However, even at category one and 70 miles offshore, the day that it hit us, we lost 60% of our electrical grid,
Yeah.
right? So I say that in the sense that to answer the question from the gentleman, we're all subject to category five hurricanes. We have to, as you said earlier, we have to rebuild. We can't go back to zinc and plywood, right? That's just some people can't afford anything but zinc and plywood. But the point is that to be more resilient, right? We're at climate mitigation at this point. To be more resilient, we have to build our houses and our roads, not necessarily to withstand, but to mitigate the damage of, right? So people are now talking about doing flat roofs, all these sorts of things. All that's going to do is bring up the cost of construction, right? Which, to
Yeah.
your point, that 8 billion could easily turn to 16 billion because that's 8 billion in loss, but the actual cost to rebuild it will probably be more, right?
Exactly.
So, what other? How do you feel? Where do you feel Jamaica is going to be in a year's time with, with the pace that you see?
Uh, Genuinely, and like real census around what is happening. I think in a year's time we'll be able to understand the footprint of all the households that were affected and the individuals that are in those households. So I feel like we'll have a good control and a good accurate number of that, to be able to then say, hey, this is how we're going to rebuild communities. This is how we're going to ensure that folks retain land, etc. So I think we'll get to that point. And then we'll have a lot more temporary homes and temporary facilities that will be built up so that folks can stay there and have a shelter. So I think we'll at least get there in a year's time. But to be honest, like in terms of recovery, they've been moving quickly, so they could move faster than that. But at least I think they'll have a better handle on all the households impacted, all the individuals in those homes, and temporary housing provided to those who don't have any.
Yeah.
All right. So we have one. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was saying a year's time, I would say a lot of families, a lot of persons, they'll probably accustomed to a new normal, because they would have lost their homes, potentially have to be migrating probably to another parish or, some foster home, depending on their structure, their family structure, So I guess a lot of person, they adapt into a new normal of life.
All right. So we have a comment that comes in that sometimes I would ignore it, but let me address it. Right. The person says preparations were made, containers got wiped out, roads were blocked. For this man, I presume he talking about me, to make it seem like Jamaica did and is doing nothing is so unfair. First of all, I never said Jamaica's not doing anything. My point is that the reality, as we can see on the ground, is that the recovery efforts are not what they should be, right? The fact of the matter is that you have the JDF having to go to Maroon Village, not the Maroon Village, but villages that are maroon. The fact of the matter is that no matter whether it's in St. Elizabeth, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, people don't have electricity and not going to have electricity. These are called systematic, I don't want to say systematic failures, but this is systematic. These are failures that show that there's weakness in the systems, right? Jamaica has not been tested for a category 5 hurricane prior. So now that we have seen it, we know what we have to build back better. We know not just the physical build back, but systems build back, right? We know that we need to have this in this place, this in that place. So I just want to just clarify that, right? And especially we have now persons like yourself who are building the infrastructure for donations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You look at this, and the only thing I can see from this is learnings. I can see folks in the comment section saying that Jamaica will rebuild better. I agree fully. We'll learn from it, and we'll do I'm confident in our country to be creative with our rebuild as well. We're extremely creative as a group and as a people. So I have no doubt that we'll rise and be better for the next time. We might be in this position, but it will just take some time to do that rebuild.
All right, I'm just going to bring up another comment. This is from my sister. My sister has had the dubious honor of being in the Virgin Islands when Hurricane Irma hit in September 2017. Her and my aunt, they didn't get injured, but the house got damaged, and many of the houses were basically obliterated, right? They had no internet for a couple of days, no electricity for a couple of days. The roads were blocked. All the same damage you see out west is what you saw in Tortola, and specifically where she was. About a week later, she got evacuated and she went to Puerto Rico. Anyone guess what happened just after that? Puerto Rico was hit by Hurricane Maria a week later.
Maria, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my sister has the dubious honor of surviving 2 Category 5 hurricanes all within 1 month. So she put this comment up saying, one way to prepare and learn is to have roundtable discussions with other countries that have had experienced the same type of disaster, right? So I say that in the sense to say that the frequency of Category 5 hurricanes in 2017, we had Irma and Maria all within 1 week. Then in 2019, we had Hurricane Dorian that basically destroyed part of the Bahamas. In 2024, you had Hurricane Beryl, which damaged or destroyed parts of St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados, and then Jamaica. And now we have Hurricane Melissa that damaged parts of Jamaica and other countries. So the point is that there's a lot of, there's a lot of experience around that we can all share, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that would help contribute, to that disaster response plan that you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is SEDEMA, right? SEDEMA is the organization that should be driving a lot of this across the region, because they are a regional entity and they pull together the different response units from each of our countries. They do training, they ensure that, they have the right things in place. But there's, for me, I look at things a couple different ways. There's the training, there's the knowledge.
Yeah.
It's good that there's an organization. But then there's investment. And I think where our countries need to focus on is investing in our resilience for these type of things. And I think we can do better there. If they pour more money into being more prepared and having better infrastructure, I'm sure we can withstand a lot more. Having redundancies and failovers. Okay, so yeah, you have one grid that is exposed. Is there a backup grid somewhere that is safe?
Yeah.
Right? Are we exploring all our options to be able to fail over easily? I think that's where the investment needs to come. And it's good to have the knowledge, but if you're not actually, if you're not, then it's weak, right? So.
Mm-hmm. So how did we have another slide here. Tell us about this one.
Right. So this group in particular have done multiple drives every weekend out there doing their thing. Uh, Included this one specifically because they are trying to do a Christmas event for kids. And so if you want the kids to have some type of normalcy for Christmas, go out and donate. Just go to donify.org and find this particular organization and donate. They're focused on giving kids, toys, food, like a Christmas event, so that they can at least, have some type of normalcy during this time where they might not have their homes, they're in shelters, or they might not have the same resources they do usually have around Christmas time. So if you guys want to help, help the kids have somewhat of a better Christmas, definitely go to donify.org and donate to this particular campaign.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely help them to have, I would say somewhat of a merry or happy Christmas, despite the circumstances, despite, some would have lost their homes, and being able to, someone is out there working so that, hey, I'm having a Christmas treat, which the kids can come be a part of to say, hey, you're loved, no need to feel depressed, we are here for you, we're here to support you. Whether it's from food, clothing, gifts, toys, whatsoever it is, I'm sure it will be much appreciated, by these kids, giving them a sense of hope.
Thank you for that. So as we start winding down, what's how can I put this? How can we help to broaden the reach of Donify to the diaspora?
Yeah, we've been reaching out to a lot of organizations that are in North America, a lot of support groups that are in North America, and looking to push that as far as we can. The show will help us do that as well.
Yeah.
And so the idea is to continue doing this. And we'll encourage everyone who's on here and is watching and want to help with the diaspora to share it. Let's continue sharing the link and showing individuals that it is a reputable platform. The organizations are verified, they are registered, and the aid that they're receiving is actually going in week after week and helping individuals in the West recover. So, Chris, just by even this show, thanks for having us. I think it's going a far away and it will help with our diaspora reach.
And in addition to that, we do support multiple payment methods, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, which provides, persons or donors with multiple options, which they can, make a donation.
Yeah, so this gives me a segue to give a shout out to our media partners who are Cayman Marl Road and Cayman Marl TV, which is in Cayman Islands, Radio Turks and Caicos, which is in Turks and Caicos Island, CBN Radio and TV, which is in the British and U.S. Virgin Islands, and Channel 82, which is here in Bermuda. So I say that I didn't get a chance to say it earlier, so let me say it now. Territories Talk was founded 8 years ago to highlight issues that are affecting social, political, historic issues that are affecting, as you would say in Jamaica, the small island people, right? So that's the British Overseas Territories of Anguilla, Bermuda, the beautiful Virgin Islands, Turks and Caicos, Montserrat, and Cayman Islands. However, the reality is in each of those island groupings, there's a large proportion of people from other Caribbean islands. And shameless plug, Jamaica is always the top amount of persons working in these islands. I mean, the majority, half the non-Caymanian workforce in Cayman Island is actually from Jamaica. In Bermuda, for example, we have a good 3,000-4,000 Jamaicans working here. In each of the overseas territories, there's large representation of Jamaicans. So when they see this show, what would you say to your fellow Jamaicans living in each of these respective islands?
I would say, guys, it's serious. It's not a joke. It's pretty bad. And if you're in a position where you can help, whether through donify.org or otherwise, please do so. And one of the things I will urge is that, and we're fearful of here on the island, is there's of course an immediate reaction or emotional reaction to what has happened, and folks are helping now. But I just want to stress that the help needs to be sustained, and so we need continuous support. So I'm not saying to do anything that will put you at risk or is outside of your means. But if you can keep the continued support over time, it will help the country recover faster and better. So guys, if you're hearing this, it's serious. We need the help more than ever. And two, if you can keep it continuous, the best you can, that would help. Share, if you're not in a position to help, share this with others, share this with your group. And definitely help them to understand that the situation here is pretty serious.
Yeah, definitely. And what I have to say is that, guys, there's a platform, trusted platform with vetted organizers on this platform, who are doing some real work here on the ground, care packages, toiletries, they're shipping truckloads, busload of packages down to these affected areas, Westmoreland, Anovo, Black River. So if it's a case where you're concerned, you can look at these, or you can even go and notify. You'll see the description, you'll see that bio about that organizer, what they do. So local churches are on it, non-profit organizations are on the Donify platform. You can reach out to them directly as well. And you can say, hey, it's a legitimate platform which they are using, and able to keep you updated to say, hey, this is the money that you have donated. This is what this is what they did with it. And what we're just a facilitator. We just build a platform, to facilitate that safe space where donors can meet organizers and make donations toward a worthy cause.
Yeah, and just to underscore, we're Jamaican solving problems for Jamaica. I love to see that. It's from a genuine place. There's definitely, only because of love, right? We both have our different entities and could be focused solely on that. So, just like us stepping up, solving problems for Jamaica, encourage you, the viewers, the listeners, to step up and also help Jamaica.
So we have something that I think we should continue to build out on Portmore.
Boy, I don't know that one. Portmore packing. We can barely make it out in the mornings to go to work. But yeah, there's still space. They're building communities right now. But yeah, I think at this point, it's becoming a risk. They would need to invest in like the hospitals and other things like that to ensure that it's not a massive risk. But there's a lot of persons there already. We do have some space, but infrastructure would have to improve to take more people.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, again, guys, give. You see that comment? Give, yeah? They need cement and they need steel. So the more you give, the better the houses can be, yeah? But a lot of these things is because of what they can, I wouldn't say it's a tradition, is what they can afford. Because what you see happen with zinc and board houses is that over time, once money is coming in, they start converting that into cinder blocks and actual concrete steel structures. That is something that happens once, money is in play. It's just, honestly, they can't afford it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is right. Because you have people who would have means to build back stronger, and you have people. Imagine you're somebody, you work in the hotel industry in Negril or Montego Bay, right? You lost your job. The place is closed down for the next year. You lost your house, so you don't even have, like to say, you have an income coming in order to build back stronger. So you're like double deficit, right?
Exactly. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, any closing remarks as we wind on?
Well, I mean, Chris, I just want to say, thank you for, having us on your radio show. I mean, this is, really good, really impactful, and I know you have a wide reach, a wide audience, both local and in the diaspora. So, really appreciate this exposure, being able to talk about our individual companies, what we do, and what we are able to jointly do, as to individual companies, which is, create the Donify platform. So, really appreciate this exposure so we can share with the Caribbean, with the entire world, what we're doing and, how we are playing our part to support, the recovery of the West.
Yeah. And I mean, the next thing I would say is that, like, just from seeing the collaboration here and the reach, like, Jamaica is not the only place we want our solutions to help improve and impact. So definitely, we'll be trying to bring these solutions, especially for funding, to these other territories that you have, Chris. So we can definitely talk about that offline and how we bring the solution to these territories so that they can benefit from it as well.
Sure. I have a commenter which speaks to a sort of prevailing mindset, right?
I can't speak to it. I haven't done a lot of work with the government yet. I do intend to try to work with them on, helping streamline things. So I really don't know. What we've done from our perspective is more from the private sector. But, I'd hope that, whoever put this up, has definitely fact checked. And if you are seeing that, work with the right individuals to get it resolved, right? We'd encourage that. And I mean, I'll pass it on to any colleagues I have as well, so they know what is happening. But I have heard those comments before, and I'm hoping that the government is hearing it as well, and they can react to it and definitely address what is being said. Ideally, at this point in time, I hope that persons understand that people need the help and that there are no bad actors.
Yeah, I think what is factual is that, and we can all agree that, like, waiting on something from a government, that's going to be very slow. As opposed to if a private organization or us as individuals come together and decide to do something, that will be a much faster action, that leads to a faster resolution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I also want to give a shout out to a lady in Trinidad. I won't call her name, but she knows who she is, who helped to put this together. She reached out to me on WhatsApp maybe a week or so ago and said, look, these are some guys that are doing fabulous work and they need exposure to get the message out. So I just want to give a shout out to her. I've never met her. We happen to be on the same chat group, WhatsApp chat group. But what that speaks to is the power of networking amongst us as Caribbean people, right? That the minute that everybody starts to see the devastation in Jamaica, whether it be governments around the region or private sector entities, have come together and do what they can to assist the people of Jamaica, right? In 1936, Emperor Haile Selassie went to the League of Nations, and this was during when the Italians invaded, and asked them for assistance in getting the Italians out, and no one wanted to listen. Anyone know what he said to them at that point? No. He said to them, "It's us today. It's gonna be you tomorrow." And after that, the 9 years later, 3 years later, World War II started, where the Italians started. They started invading other countries along with the Germans. Yeah. So I say that in a sense to say it's us as Jamaica today. It could be any one Caribbean island next year, as we saw with Hurricane Beryl, right? Hurricanes are starting early on. It could be June next year that another island gets wiped out. Not wiped out, but extensively damaged, right?
Yeah.
So this what speaks to the universality us as Caribbean people helping each other, right?
Yeah.
So again, thank you to that lady who is going to remain nameless in from Trinidad. I don't know where she is, but she's from Trinidad. So I want to thank you, and thank you, gentlemen, and we'll talk offline.
All right. Thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely. Thank you,
All right,
Chris.
guys. Thank you for
And once again, shout out to Cayman Mall Road, Radio Turks and Caicos, CBN Radio in Tortola, and Channel 82 in Bermuda. Shout out to my co-host Shana Smith Archer from the Virgin Islands and speaker Shirley Osborne from Montserrat. On that note, all of we are one.
Yeah,
All
man.
right. Big up. Yeah, man.
Oh, the word is love.
Yeah, man. One love.
All right.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.